What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Sly Jordy, and welcome back to F1 25 driver career mode for the Austrian Grand Prix reverse of season 2. That's right, our very first reverse track on this year's game in this career mode. I'm really excited for it. This is going to feel like a totally new track, and I'm extra excited because we've got 3 new upgrades coming in this weekend. But before we start talking about all that, if you missed last episode at the Spanish Grand Prix, smack back down to reality for us. A P7, nowhere near the top guys, of course. Very similar to Imola. However, most of the drivers that should have been ahead of us were ahead of us, and Williams really coming into their own now, or rather Carlos Sainz is coming into his own. Really good result for him. The other drivers are now starting to catch up, so we had a really good run of form in the first 4 races, but I said after Monaco, around about now is the time where consistency will start to set in and we'll really see where the cars are at, unless we get luckier with safety cars, of course. But I think we already used up all our luck in the first few races, and it looks as though Max Verstappen is going to very quickly catch up because the Ferraris are very far ahead when safety cars are not involved. Verstappen 17 seconds ahead of Leclerc, I think it was, and Leclerc was in second place, and he was well ahead of Carlos Sainz in the Williams. McLaren weren't even on the podium last time out. So we've fallen to P3 in the constructors standings as well. McLaren's still out in front, largely down to Ferrari's horrible result in Imola, but it is only a matter of time before Ferrari most likely overtake McLaren. But other than that, Fernando Alonso, a really unlucky result for him. He's had a pretty unlucky season in general so far. He was going on for what likely would have been a P5 or a P6. By the end of the Grand Prix, was ahead of us just about. So honestly, yeah, I think he probably would have got a P6 at the end of that, which is a shame that he never managed to get it. He should be ahead of pretty much most of the guys ahead of him, other than maybe Leclerc. So yeah, Fernando honestly should be in P7 in the driver's standings, and he just isn't, unfortunately, due to the unluckiness that he has had. In terms of our vehicle, let's have a quick look through. We're looking good in terms of everything, so I'm not really going to worry about any of that. And we have no more upgrades to bring in for powertrain, I'm not sure anyway. I know we can't put any more in. We've got all the possible ones coming in. I still don't know whether or not I want to get rid of this R&D scenario just yet. I do want to wait until like around halfway through the season, so maybe after the OG Silverstone race, going into Silverstone Reverse is probably when I'll lift the embargo, and then we could see our first upgrades going into Spa, perhaps, or Zandvoort Reverse. We'll see. But yeah, without further ado, it's time to stop yapping about all that and see if these upgrades come to fruition. Energy store cells, there. Fuel technology efficiency, done, and so is the exhaust. So that is
I'm pleased to say that our new
really
parts
good.
have come through without any issue, so they'll be on the car ready for the next race weekend.
Awesome. So now we go back into the race weekend. We've unlocked the cylinder head for the powertrain. Everything else is unknown. I need 60% recognition and 50% recognition there. So Alonso would be able to get that, I'm pretty sure. If the AI can even get that stuff. Of course, I never played F1 24 career long enough to really see a lot of this come to fruition. If we have a look at our contracts right now, recognition-wise, yes, Alonso will be able to get it, but neither of us will be able to get that 60% recognition. So very soon we're going to start running into some serious issues there. That's 60%, that's 60%, that's 50%. So, yeah. I think this powertrain only thing is very quickly running its course, so maybe after this episode we'll be disabling the R&D scenario. But yeah, this comes in between, like just before Silverstone Reverse, so I think this is actually good timing to maybe get rid of it. So after Silverstone OG, I am going to get rid of this, you know, R&D scenario of powertrain only. We're going to rush this though. It is only a 25% failure chance, so if we could get this in before Silverstone weekend, this is going to be great. You know, some great results could be coming our way. that weekend, and it is the home Grand Prix for the team, of course, the home Grand Prix for myself. So, and I want redemption at the original Silverstone, and I also want a good result at the very first Silverstone reverse. So, yeah, we'll go with that. That will also be the final Silverstone, like, normal circuit race we do. We'll be doing reverse for the rest of the series. I've only kept Silverstone normal because season 1 Silverstone was so bad for us. We had a horrible time, so I definitely want to improve, that is for sure. But here we go, finally getting to go around the Red Bull Ring in reverse. I am ridiculously excited for this. I've been looking forward to this. This is one of the tracks I've been really looking forward to since the game announced it, you know. It really shakes things up. I wish we got more reverse tracks, but, you know, next year we'll have 6. If they're doing 3 each year. Next year we'll have 6. The year after we'll have 9. And eventually, pretty much all the tracks will have reverse variants. And we'll have, like, 48 tracks on one F1 game? It would be crazy. And speaking of crazy, qualifying is going to be insane in the rain. Thankfully, it's not in the rain. Oh, never mind. Yes, it is. So we might have a little bit of trouble, as you guys know. Oh, qualifying is mostly wet, and then the race will actually mostly be dry and then wet near the end. So we might get a bit lucky. The wet conditions, like the AI in the wet, have not been fixed as of speaking right now. I don't understand why they haven't been fixed. In fact, I called it out in beta, and they never acknowledged it. So this has been an issue since, like, when was the beta? Like March, I think it was. March, April, one of those months. I played all 3 betas, complained about it every single time. There was only a handful of us doing it, so all of you complaining, blame everyone playing the beta, because all of them just played in the dry in multiplayer. Nobody played the wet conditions. I mean, they might have played it in multiplayer, but nobody was really vigorously testing the AI. It's such a shame. And the developers never picked up on it, really, unfortunately. They've now picked up on it, but they're taking so long to fix it. I really don't understand what is going on. What else could they possibly be doing, you know? They need to fix it, because it's like, it's game-breaking, you know? They are so fast in the wet. Like, you could turn the difficulty down as low down as 60, you know? And they are still way faster than you. So, in qualifying, we'll be fine. We'll have to hope in race conditions right near the end it won't affect too much, but we'll have to see. Either way, it's time to get into Austria reverse qualifying in the rain. Oof.
High up in the mountains here at Spielberg, it's time for qualifying on what will be the fastest laps of the season. Stand by for qualifying at the Austrian Grand Prix.
Well, as if the prospect of a reverse race around Austria wasn't already interesting enough, the first reverse track of this year's game that we are doing, we're finally here, but it's also in the rain. We don't have to worry too much about AI straight line speed here, because that's purely a race condition problem and not qualifying, so we can get knuckled down and start focusing on getting the best possible time we can. I've always been pretty good in wet conditions, particularly in this year's game, actually, against other players at the very least. I've always had a much better time in these conditions. I don't know how it's going to be against the AI. It's been so long since we had a wet qualifying, pretty much towards the beginning of Season 1, so you know, the landscape of Formula 1 is very much different right now in Season 2. Halfway through the season, of course, so let's see how we do. So far it feels pretty good. And on the subject of the AI straight line speed problem, we do have an update coming tomorrow. As you guys know, I record this commentary after the gameplay and after the intro, of course, so at the time I didn't know we had a patch releasing. Since then it's been announced, and yeah, September 15th, which is tomorrow, by the time you see this, that is when that patch will be dropping. We might test it, we'll see. No, we'll definitely test it. And, you know, the new F2 cars are coming as well. It is basically the sports update. And then on September 18th, we have the second driver updates of the year. So that's going to be really cool to see. I'm wondering whether or not to save recording another episode of the career mode until then. We'll see. You know, the next couple of races will be around Silverstone, but focusing on the gameplay, very, very interesting. Fernando Alonso, really quick, actually went provisional pole faster than Leclerc in the Ferrari, but as you can see, well, you can't really tell from the track itself, but as you can tell from the Delta, everybody's gaining about 2 seconds. You know, the quickest time was about 1:14. Verstappen just set a 1:12. We're 2 seconds above our Delta. Again, the conditions don't look much different, but with all the cars going around the track in this session, it probably dried up the track big time as we now go across the line. What's it going to be for the first reverse race of the year? P6, so just above our average, but you're going to be really surprised to see who was actually ahead of us. Yeah, that's right. Pierre Gasly in the Alpine and Esteban Ocon in the Haas. Where did they come from? And once again, Fernando Alonso out-qualifies us. He's had such an unlucky season, but not for the lack of trying, you know. He's out-qualified us, what is this, 3 times this season? And this is round 6, I think. So, yeah, very interesting. Hopefully he can get a good result as we go into the Grand Prix.
Welcome from the beautiful Styrian Mountains for another chapter in the story of the Austrian Grand Prix. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And it's Pierre Gasly in P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Charles Leclerc, the rookie, Norris, Stroll, Behrman, and Franco Colapinto, Hülkenberg, Piastri, Gabriel Bortoleto, and Albon. Antonelli, Russell, Yuki Tsunoda, and Isaac Hadjar. Doohan and Carlos Sainz will start from the back of the grid. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. And alongside me today is a man who needs no introduction, but I'll try anyway. It's Ant Davidson. Now, we had great fun watching them win last time out. What a great victory it was. But can they carry that into today's race?
It's the important one, isn't it, Crofty? You've done it once, can you do it again? But, you know, if you start believing in yourself and the confidence starts to build, that inner confidence is what you need. And you can carry that through to future races, including this one, and you set that ball rolling. That's the critical thing that they're looking for here. And I believe if you've got that first race win or a win at any stage, it can start to roll with you in a good way.
We've got a great chance of getting another points finish in this race. Keep it clean and hopefully we can work our way up the field.
I don't know why the engineer is acting like we're some kind of back marker, because we've earned points pretty easily in every race this season. In fact, I think we have the most wins of any driver this season. We do. Of course we do. We're P1 in the driver's standings right now, but we're coming under some extreme threat, particularly from Ferrari. McLaren didn't qualify well at all. Norris in P7, Piastri outside of the points. I think Piastri got a penalty. Norris just didn't qualify well, and he's starting on the hard, so we're not going to have to worry too much at the start here. Leclerc just ahead of us, Verstappen on pole, Gasly in P2, Ocon just ahead of us. Very, very surprising. But we know this car's got the pace. Fernando Alonso in P3. Hopefully he can get a good result and pick up some more points for the team in the constructors' standings, as we now await all the cars to get lined up so we can start this race, waiting for the 5 red lights. And it's lights out, away we go. Verstappen gets a good start ahead of Gasly. We get blocked off by Ocon, which allows Leclerc a free pass down the right-hand side. Alonso was defending against Ocon, and he tries to defend too late. Them two are side-by-side. Now we had a bit of contact with Ocon as we finally get past him, out-gripping him. Leclerc getting round Alonso. Alonso defending the inside from us. I'm not going to fight too hard. In fact, I actually forgot to put my ERS on at the start. at least in overtake mode, due to all the commotion. But I really was not expecting that aggressive defense from Ocon. I mean, there wouldn't have been enough space down that left-hand side anyway, but yeah, he practically gave that position to Alonso, and that over-defending from Esteban there actually caused him to fall from P4 to P7, so a nightmare start for what was a miracle qualifying for the Haas there, as Leclerc looks to get past Gasly. Verstappen got an incredible start. He is already seconds up the road, so dream start for Max Verstappen right there, picking up where he left off in the Red Bull for the majority of season 1, and he's looking to catch up to us this season to win yet another championship. He is the five-time champion in Formula 1 right now, in our universe anyway. In real life he's only a 4-time, but in our universe he ended up winning the 2025 season, 5-time champion. Yeah, it's just such a shame for Leclerc, man. You gotta feel really sorry, because finally getting a race-winning car in that Ferrari, and of all people to have as his teammate, it's Max Verstappen. Alonso looking to get past Gasly, but in all that commotion, Alonso leaves himself vulnerable to us. And look at this now, side by side with our teammate down the main straight. This is for all the marbles, looking to make the pass right here for P4. Alonso, of course, will probably be getting on the team radio complaining about that. I am praying to whatever F1 gods are up there that we don't get the team order to let Fernando pass, because I feel like we've got some crazy pace around here. I gotta say, Sector 3, or at least old Sector 3, it's Sector 1 around this reverse track, feels so much better than it does in the actual track, that I honestly think I prefer this version. But yeah, Verstappen dominating this race, 2 seconds ahead of Leclerc. Leclerc himself 2 seconds ahead of Gasly, who we have now managed to catch up to in lap 4. He's got no DRS on Leclerc. Leclerc slowly but surely hoping to catch up to Verstappen. We've got DRS on Gasly. We'll be looking to make this pass going down the right, looking to go around the outside into turn 1. We're already in front by the time we get there, and that is as easy as you like. But of course, Gasly will have DRS down the main straight here, looking to retake the position. We cover him off quite nicely, and that is P3 right there. So in terms of damage limitation, if you know, push comes to shove against the Ferraris later on this season, we definitely, like I've said multiple times, want to remain as consistent as possible. And speaking of consistency, Fernando Alonso putting on another great performance here, despite the really bad luck he's had this season thus far. He's looking to follow suit in P3, follow us in P3 as he moves up into P4 past Pierre Gasly. We know the Aston Martin is better than the Alpine, and Alonso pretty much proving it right there. Those upgrades that we got, 3 big upgrades going into this weekend, and that is a massive squeeze, by the way. Wow, Alonso, jeez. But yeah, the 3 upgrades that we got going into this weekend really paying dividends. It's 3-4 for Aston Martin. We're clearly the second quickest car on the grid right now, which is a really good sign for Silverstone weekends, the 2 weeks in Silverstone, because yeah, it's all about speed around there as well. But we're going to switch our view to the front. Not much change later on in the laps, except Norris overtook Alonso, so McLaren getting back into it. Leclerc takes the lead of the race. I think Verstappen relaxed a little bit too much. Leclerc managed to make up 2 seconds on Verstappen, and now he's showing the kind of pace that he has. A dream start for Leclerc in this race, but Verstappen looking to get past. There's contact between the 2 Ferraris, and you just knew it was going to happen eventually. 2 world-class drivers in a world-class car. We knew they were going to butt heads at some point, and finally they have, as Verstappen retakes P1 in perhaps not the cleanest fashion. Ferrari will be panicking on the radio right now to these 2, begging them to keep it clean. As we move on later in the lap, Leclerc is going to have another opportunity to overtake Verstappen right here, looking to go around the outside into turn 1. This is turning into quite the battle. Leclerc needs these results. Verstappen P2 in the drivers, but Leclerc quite a while behind. He needs a good win here. He needs a big result, as those 2 will continue to do battle. We, on the other hand, are going to pit early. I want to see just how quick this car can be, and I want to see if there's any way of catching up to the Ferraris. Of course, we didn't have the greatest of starts, getting blocked by Ocon, having to work our way through traffic, so we didn't really have a good opportunity to really chase after the Ferraris. I'm hoping with this early pit stop we can make up a lot of time and the Ferraris can get stuck in some traffic themselves, and perhaps we can maybe start fighting for the win. I'm really hoping so anyway, but this traffic in front of us is really not going to be a good thing as we're looking to get past Lance Stroll. Lance covering off the inside, over defending right there. I don't know why he's really defending that. We're in a completely different race. I think he just cost himself time behind his teammate, or maybe he was protecting his teammate. I don't know, but we now chase after our former teammate Isaac Hadjar in the Racing Bull. I had a look down the inside there, but we know we were going to get this move done on this straight, but we're not going to be able to. Hadjar actually has more ERS than us, and he's looking to make the pass around Bortoletto. Bortoletto defends pretty well. Well, actually he doesn't. Hadjar does get past Bortoletto. We're going to have to power past Bortoletto and then go around the outside of Isaac Hadjar going into turn 1. So that might have slowed us down quite a bit, maybe cost us a few tenths, up to a second perhaps. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but Verstappen is out of the pits now. He's only 3 seconds ahead, so we were able to gain a reasonable amount of time, but it is not good enough as we do set the fastest lap, however, but they're not worth any points anymore. We're now chasing down the Mercedes of Kimi Antonelli, who's having a much better season this season than he did in Season 1. George Russell, nowhere to be seen in the other Mercedes. I think he is outside of the points. We're getting some dirty air. As you can see, I'm really pushing. You can tell by the ERS being so low. But I've really got to start making these passes. Leclerc is only just over 2 seconds up the road as Verstappen is looking to make the pass on what I assume to be Colapinto. Colapinto is the Red Bull in front right now and not Tsunoda, so I'm assuming Verstappen's trying to overtake Colapinto, which he does, judging by the mini-map. Ocon is still out. I don't know who's leading right now, but we're looking to make this pass on Antonelli now, slowly but surely. We've really got to start saving ERS now, otherwise we're not going to make any progress. All this battling with Antonelli has actually cost us about a second against Leclerc, so we've lost a second in that time. Of course, the Ferraris, especially Leclerc, 2 lap fresher hard tyres. I'm pretty sure Leclerc pit after Verstappen, so yeah, Leclerc has fresher tyres. Meanwhile, we've got to chase down Colapinto, and Leclerc has doubled his distance to us. So from 2 seconds up to 4 seconds, Verstappen is just in front of him. Piastri is leading the race. Of course, he is still yet to pit, but we're now going to make our pass on the Red Bull of Franco Colapinto. Really good season for him so far, judging by the fact this is his first full-time seat. So yeah, he'll be really proud of the results that he is getting, especially against the experienced Yuki Tsunoda. We're going to have to defend a little bit going into turn 1 just to make sure he doesn't get all the slipstream. But yeah, that is pretty much stint over. Verstappen 2 seconds ahead of Leclerc. Leclerc 5.7 seconds ahead of us. So I'm going to have one final desperate throw of the dice, or roll of the dice, whatever you want to call it. We're pitting for the second and final time, this time onto the hards. We will have more worn tyres against the Ferraris, but again, I'm banking on the fact that the Ferraris could possibly get stuck in traffic, and so we could catch up and maybe make some moves. If we can end up in front of the Ferraris, I'm going to have a much easier time defending a lead than trying to gain it, that is for damn sure. So yeah, pretty good pit stop from the pit crew right there. I would have been livid if they failed once more, but yeah, we know we were very quick on the mediums. Let's see how we do on the hards here. We know the car is really quick and clean air. In fact, this is probably the best the car has felt since Bahrain, if I'm being quite honest. The car feels fantastic, but Ferrari, it just goes to show just how good their car is. Still a gulf between us and them, and a nice little nod to Spain. Fernando Alonso, you know, there were team orders that we had to let him pass last episode. This time, clearly, the team got on the radio to Fernando to let us pass him, as he makes that not difficult at all. And we are desperate to make these moves. That was a crazy move against Gasly right there. Of course, we do have a lot more grip, so it looks crazy, but it wasn't actually that difficult given the amount of grip that we have. But I'm just trying to make these moves as quick as possible, diving down the inside of Esteban Ocon there, clean as you like. We managed to make the pass, but this goes to show just how quick the Haas is. He doesn't have DRS, and yet he's looking to make the pass, the repass, without it. That is absolutely crazy. So Haas definitely brought in some good upgrades. I don't know, maybe the upgrade was only for Ocon, because Behrman is in no man's land. We've got the two McLarens up ahead. I'm pretty sure Piastri will be pitting very, very, very soon. Verstappen is just coming out of the pits. Maybe Piastri just pit. I don't know how Piastri's race has gone, but Verstappen has just come out of the pits. So, yeah, he's still 5.3 seconds, 5.8 seconds ahead. So, yeah, Verstappen pretty much no catching him. Maybe we'll see what happens about Leclerc. Leclerc will be pitting very soon. And there's a safety car, just as I had given up, perhaps, on getting a good result. But this is actually bad for us because Piastri is still ahead. He definitely pitted early onto the hards, maybe banking on the safety car. This is what happened. Lance Stroll looking to make the double pass. That was never, ever going to work out. Completely outbrakes himself, locks up, and smashes into the wall. A pretty clean crash, all things considered, because his wheels are still on the car. The only thing he lost was the front wing. Either way, it's still pretty much race over for Lance. He may as well have crashed the car out, but yeah, that's all it needs to cause the safety car. There'll be a lot of debris around the last corner there, so now we've got to work on strategizing. We need to get past Piastri. This would be a whole lot easier if, you know, we were behind Verstappen, because we could have caught Verstappen napping on the main straight, and then perhaps go after Leclerc. But Leclerc has got two cars as a buffer. I don't think we're going to win this race at all. But P3 definitely up for grabs. We're definitely quicker than the McLaren this weekend. At least I feel that way anyway. Verstappen, I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. But look at how slow Piastri is going on this main straight. Like, they don't go on top speed until they cross that line, which means we can just completely exploit it, I suppose. But, you know, it's their fault. It's not my fault. I'm not going to give the AI an advantage when they already have enough of one every time we go on to a straight in racing conditions. So I'm going to take the wins where I can get them. P3 for us right now as we now look to chase down the Ferrari of Max Verstappen. We've got to get this done, probably this lap, because the longer this race goes, the quicker the Ferrari is going to be against us. So if we could get this pass done on Verstappen, perhaps we can defend it for the rest of the race. But look at how much time they gained, nearly 2/10 on one straight. It really does go to show just how good the Ferrari is. Easily they have the quickest powertrain, so I think we're getting to a point where the R&D scenario might be ready to go. We'll see when we get to next episode, but this is it right here, right now. No DRS. We're going to spend all the ERS that we can as we look to now dive down the inside of Max Verstappen side by side here, as we finally get a win over the Ferraris, at least for now. And that is a very opportunistic pass. I don't think Verstappen expected it at all. And the team obviously sets the objective of keeping Verstappen behind until lap 33, but obviously we want to keep him behind until the end of the race. But those objectives, they never really make any sense for the grand scheme of things, especially if you're playing some DRS trains as we dive down the inside of Verstappen, who looked to have re-overtook us. Leclerc is now 2.2 seconds ahead, so Leclerc pretty much has this race all sewn up, and this is just the result he needs. He's really struggled this season, especially against Verstappen, but as a whole, Leclerc, fastest lap set right there. He has definitely won this race. We have no chance. So really, we only need to focus on Verstappen for now. Leclerc is quite a while back in the driver standings, but Verstappen is pretty much only 20 or so points behind us. So Verstappen looking to make the move around the outside, side by side, as we go on to the second to last straight. We just about managed to keep the position. And that's pretty much what we do every lap. I am an expert at saving ERS when in front of a car I'm trying to defend against. So we have more than enough ERS to stay in front, no matter how much Verstappen loves to throw his car around the outside, down the inside. It doesn't matter. As soon as we get onto that straight, I have plenty of ERS to spend, and I'm 99% sure that ERS is more powerful than DRS in this year's game, so it's not really a difficulty to keep Verstappen behind, and he's going to be really frustrated because he would have felt he could have won this race, against Leclerc. I feel as though Leclerc would have had it won anyway. His pace has been insane since this race began. But yeah, as we go towards the end of the race, Leclerc's pace actually does start to falter. And the Ferrari's pace in general seems to falter. My pace has not changed since the safety car ended, but the Ferrari is now looking to save some tyres. Verstappen is now outside of DRS range, and now we are within 2 seconds. Even my engineer is talking about us starting to catch the car in front. We only have 2 laps left to go, so I really don't think we were going to get that anyway, but it was definitely something worth observing, that is for sure, because we're just over a second behind. If there were a couple more laps in this race, perhaps we could have even gone for the win. Who knows? But we're really making progress with this car now. Ferrari, obviously a golfing class between us, but we have a fighting chance to remain consistent throughout this season, and Ferrari have probably been the most inconsistent team of this game so far, besides Mercedes. So, yeah, I think there's a good chance we win the championship this year against 2 cars that are definitely quicker than us.
To the line, to the checkered flag. It's King Charles today. He wins.
You always look back at a race like this and think, if I'd just made that mistake there or looked up here, there would have been contact. And every one of those overtakes is a moment where you have to absolutely nail it, perfect it, and that's exactly what they're able to do today. Great stuff indeed.
Well, it's been a long wait for many of our drivers, but the wait is always worth it. Bring them out to the awaiting crowd. It's time for our podium celebrations. And that is a fabulous win and the top step of the podium for Charles Leclerc.
Yes, of course, that is a much needed win for Charles Leclerc right there. He's had a pretty awkward start to the season, to say the least, especially since Verstappen has just come into Ferrari and is, getting great results. But that is a result that he definitely needs, and it's going to be really interesting to see what happens between the 2 Ferrari drivers and how we come into the equation, that is for sure. We were able to split them in this race, very lucky due to the safety car once more. But to be fair, I feel like we deserved it, because we got blocked off by Ocon, which really slowed us down in lap 1, and then we had to move through traffic. Leclerc pretty much got a free pass down the right-hand side, and Verstappen, Gasly was never, ever going to challenge him, let's be real. We're still about 27 points ahead in the drivers' standings right now. We, of course, are still P3 in the Constructors. I don't think any team's going to be challenging us. Hopefully, Alonso, man, he had an engine failure in this race. I didn't mention it due to, we had to focus on our own race at the time, but you would have noticed that he wasn't anywhere on the leaderboards, and I think there was a team radio during one of the clips. I don't understand it. I wish, honestly, I could turn engine failures off. I really don't like them because they usually only happen to the front runners, and it just makes things so ridiculous. Piastri had so many engine failures last season. It was just ridiculous. So fingers crossed Alonso has no more of that, but I'm not holding my breath. But either way, that is the end of this episode of F125 Career Mode. If you guys liked it, be sure to hit that like button as hard as you possibly can. I'll leave you with this clip of that last overtake against Verstappen. And until next time, I'll see you soon. Peace.